Okay, so after a long discussion, we talked about movies that, need sequels and then movies that need to be remade. Because I would say in the past, decade, going into, the 2010s, it's been mainly just sequels. We're in the age of just getting sequels.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That nobody asked for half the time.
Yeah, pretty much. So. Yeah, so we decided to come up with our own list of movies that we feel need sequels and movies that we feel need to be remade. Because, that's what we want to do. So, which one did you want to start with, the sequels or the remakes?
We'll go with remakes.
Okay.
We'll go with remakes.
So, I have 3 stuff on here. Now, to clarify, this can be movies and TV. So, either or works. For remakes, I have 3 movies that I can think of. I know if you throw out a couple, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's very true. But, we'll see what we can do. So, did you want to start first?
How about you start first?
You have more, don't you?
I have a bit.
Holy shit. Okay, then all right. So the remakes one was a bit difficult. We'll go to the sequel ones after because I have a lot more on that one. But the remakes one, so we've had a shit ton. The first one we've had a shit ton of Stephen King adapted movies. Some pretty good, like I don't know, Misery and Dr. Sleep I thought was quite good. A whole bunch. Shawshank. But we've gotten some out there that just, they suck. It's just plain and simple. If you ever get a chance, watch Maximum Overdrive because Stephen King directed that movie. And it's ridiculous and it's stupid, but there's a certain funny charm to it. Like if you take it out of context, it's actually quite funny. Mm-hmm. But it's this is a terrible movie. And then you got movies like Sleepwalkers, which, the first time I saw it, I was like, the hell is this crap? And then after I revisit certain scenes, I just laugh at it because it's like you don't even know what the hell you're doing anymore. You just don't. So if I had to choose a Stephen King movie that I feel needs to be remade, off the top of my head, it would probably be Cujo. And here's why. Cujo is not a bad movie. It's not. But you can clearly tell, okay, that's a shot with a dog. Okay, that's a stunt man. And I still love the behind-the-scenes photo where you can clearly see the stunt man in a dog outfit. Mm-hmm. That's just okay, that's just ridiculous. So, yeah, I don't think Cujo is a bad movie at all. There's certain things, especially, they're a mother and a son trapped inside of a car and they don't have the keys. And there's a dog that unfortunately got bit by, I believe it was a bat, and is infected outside of the car. And it's well, we're going to die in here if we don't do anything. But also we have pretty much almost a killer outside of the car that will kill us. So it's what are we going to do? So I'm not knocking the movie for that. It's just, there's certain aspects of it where I'm yeah, you could have done better. You could have done better. But also, it was the early 80s, so you can kind of not necessarily ding it because of that, because it was the 80s. But, that's just me. But I know people are going to throw out, Sleepwalkers, or even, the fucking the Mangler, which is a I believe I believe it was a washing machine that like starts killing or something like that. I forget what it was, but it was some kind of a appliance. It was like, what the hell is this? But Maximum Overdrive, as much as I could potentially see that being remade, I don't really want to see it because there's a certain charm to that one. So,
Right.
you know, picking a Stephen King movie that I'm like, okay, this absolutely does need to get remade was kind of tricky. But then there's just some movies of his, like, you know, that just don't work. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't even understand your fucking story. So I don't know. So I would say, like, the one where I'm like, if they remade it and they updated it a little bit and maybe like a little punch up on some other things, I think Cujo would be pretty good. Like I said, it's the original is not bad. It's just there's certain aspects to it where it's like, not really working for me. So that's that.
Okay.
The second movie I have, which was a movie in the 90s. Now, I'm just going to go on the record and say that this movie, again, much like Cujo, is not bad. And I know a lot of people that really like this movie. My dad being one of them. But did you ever see The Shadow?
I have. Yes.
Okay. That one I'm putting on the remake list because, okay, here's what I'll say. The movie, you know, really good cast. I love the score. I love the attention to detail, the way they made it look like it was the 30s, I believe. 30s or 40s. They knocked that out of the park. They really did. But there's a certain thing on that where it's like, you guys almost had it. You like almost did. It was like you had the right pieces, and then I think it mostly came down to the high level of CGI they used, and especially it's being mid-90s CGI. It does not look good today. So it's like, that kind of looks like shit.
Okay, fair enough. Very good.
But, you know, and they've been wanting to remake the film for a while. In fact, Sam Raimi, early on in his career, he wanted to get the rights to Batman and The Shadow. But Batman was out of his reach because Tim Burton had just did his version, and then he couldn't get the rights to The Shadow because it was too expensive. But now he actually has the rights to The Shadow, and nothing has really come of it because they're still trying to come up with a story. So it's like, okay, that would be kind of cool. Like, the director of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies does The Shadow. Okay, I'd see that. And because Sam Raimi also has a background with horror, I could see a lot of like horror elements going into The Shadow because he's a very, you know, like dark character. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's like, okay, that'd be cool. I could see that. All right. All right. It's just they haven't found a script they like. So who knows what's going to happen? And, you know, currently it's still on the, like, we don't know. We don't know what's happening. But I do like the original. It's just there's certain elements in there where it's just like, yeah, if that was a punch up, this would have been really, really good. Like, really above and beyond. So that's why I'm not, you know, the remake, this remake list was a bit difficult because I was just like, I don't really see a ton of movies where I'm like, okay, that needs to be remade. A lot of them I'm just like, that shouldn't have been attempted at all. So that's why this remake list was a little bit difficult for me. But the last movie I have on here is James Wan. As much as I love James Wan, I love his Conjuring movies. I really like Malignant. You know, the Saw series, I think, is a little underappreciated because people are just like, oh, it's a gory, like, gore fest film and nothing else. It's like, not really, but okay. But to me, his movie Dead Silence probably needs like a little punch up. And I even read that James Wan doesn't even like it because apparently during the filming of it, he and the studio kept clashing, where they wanted script changes, they wanted stuff redone, and they're just like, well, this isn't even the movie we want to make anymore. So yeah, so I can in the movie I'm like, okay, I think there's a good movie in here, but there's some parts in it where I'm like, yeah, like that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And sometimes I'm like, okay, that's a little bit like over the top for what you're trying to do. You're trying to bring in this element that I'm like, okay, I don't think this necessarily works here, but I'll take it. But I don't think, much like The Shadow, I don't think Dead Silence is a bad movie. It's a movie where I'm like, okay, like it's fine, I guess. Where with like The Shadow, I'm like, this is good, but it can be a little bit better. This is kind of like on the lines of like Cujo, where it's like, okay, like it's fine, but there's still stuff in here where I'm like, yeah, you could redo this. So yeah, like I said, I don't think it's a bad movie. There's certainly some stuff that I find creepy in it. It's dolls. It depends on the dolls. Like Barbie dolls and like the Mattel dolls, I don't find creepy at all. Now, ventriloquist stuff, it depends on what they look like. Now, I told you about the old lady who swallowed a fly doll.
Yes.
Yeah, that thing can burn in hell. Yeah, those are the kind where I'm like, just hell no. And I would throw the Poltergeist clown doll into it, where I'm just like, you took a clown and turned it into a doll. People don't like clowns anyway, and you turn that motherfucker into a doll? How dare you? So but I believe I saw the movie because of my dad, who is terrified of dolls. Every once in a while, I love bringing up Talking Tina from the Twilight Zone, because he hates the shit out of that thing. And I remember, I think it was it was some holiday. I think it was Christmas. I think it was Christmas. Some channel, I think it was probably like Sci-Fi, they actually ran a marathon of all the Twilight Zone episodes from the 50s. And I was flipping through the channels, and I spotted that Talking Tina episode. And so then my dad comes down, and I said like, "Hey Dad, want to watch Talking Tina?" And he just went, "Screw you." Because I knew like he was generally afraid of that thing. But I know he finds the movie to be really scary. There are parts of the movie I think are creepy, but overall I'm like, okay. This, I think if James Wan was able to not get clash with the studio, and he actually got to make the movie he wanted to make, I think I would have liked it a little bit more. Like for example, like Malignant, that is exactly what he wanted the movie to be, because he made a shit ton of money for, I think it was Warner Brothers. They just said, "Hey, here's a shit ton of money. Go make a movie you want. We will not interfere." And so that's how Malignant came together, and it's the movie he wanted to do. So, which, it's over the top, but I fucking love Malignant. I love that one. It's over the top as hell. It's not too serious, but I love it. You seen that one?
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it yet.
I think you might dig that one, especially if you like those like giallo movies where it's like detective stories. It's very much that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's over the top. There's some parts where you're just like, that doesn't make sense, but the movie is saying, we know this doesn't make sense, just go with it. And it's like, okay. And yeah, the script is not all that good, but like I said, it's just like, we know this is dumb. We know, but we're going with it. And I went with it, and I had a blast. So that's a fun movie. But Yeah, I feel like with Dead Silence, I feel like if James Wan was able to make the movie he wanted to make, I think it would have been a little better. I would have liked it a little bit more. Because to me, out of his directing catalog, there's a couple movies in there that I still haven't seen. I personally think Dead Silence is his weakest film. But I haven't seen his full catalog yet, so until I do, then I really can't make a choice. It's not like Jordan Peele where I think, I've seen all three of his movies. I think Get Out is his best one. Or like Ari Aster, I've seen all three of his movies, and I'm like, okay, Hereditary, that's the best one. So it's not like that. But, oh well. And if I just thought about this one, but you know what? They need to fucking remake Venom. It doesn't need a sequel. It needs to be remade the way it's supposed to, where he is a fucking villain. But that's just me. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. But that's all I have for my remake list. So what about your catalog? What do you have in there?
Okay, well, I don't have that much in reality. I really don't. But I guess I could start off with the 2011 Green Lantern. The one that was directed by Ryan Campbell with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Sexiest man alive, Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. Well, even what I think is funny about that one is it wasn't until a couple of years ago when Ryan Reynolds actually sat down and watched it. Because he was actually honest. He did not see it. And he actually made a cocktail out of it while he was watching it.
Right.
Yeah, I think with his gin, it was like some I think it was like the Furious Lantern or something like that, because people came out of Green Lantern all furious.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, he posted a picture on his social where it's him, and sitting in front of him is a computer with the movie pulled up and his gin. And he's like, I'm now watching the movie. Like, wish me luck. No, I would definitely say that was just like very miscalculated. It was just like, okay, you guys are trying way too hard and like throwing so much in here. It's like, all right. And then the fact that they had to CGI on the green like eye mask thing for Reynolds, that was CGI. It's like, come on, really? All right, whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's why I want it to get remade, or at least just remake the entire thing. Like it doesn't have to be with Ryan Reynolds. Just make a good Green Lantern movie.
Well, he's Deadpool, so I'm sure he's like, yeah, I'm not going back down that road.
Although, no, I think Deadpool doesn't really need anything. I think it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, hell, we're getting a third movie with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine back, so
fair enough.
Hopefully that movie saves the MCU from whatever they're doing. But
okay, well, on the superhero route, I do think Daredevil might need a remake.
Yeah, that does. I mean, that was during the time when Ben Affleck was dating Jennifer Lopez and also really just didn't give a shit on what he was doing at that point. And I believe also during that time he was drinking a lot, I think. And then it was after that, it was after Daredevil and him and Jennifer Lopez breaking up that he really got his shit together. And I was like, see, this is what we remember from you. Now it looks like he's kind of going down back that path with him like seeing around like Lopez, and it's just like, don't. Just don't go down that path. You got out of it. Let's not do that.
Right.
Yeah, I would say, well, and then also Daredevil, what I think, kind of was a little bit idiotic about that one was they were trying to like set up like all these other different movies. Like eventually we got the Elektra movie.
Right.
So it's like this feels unnecessary.
Elektra wasn't even that good, I'll be honest with you.
No, it was not. Not at all. It was not. But, you know, with, you know, Daredevil Born Again, and it is Charlie Cox coming back as the character,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, we'll see, because, you know, we all wanted to see that again. And then...
Okay, well.
Yeah. Oh, well.
But,
right.
yeah, I mean, I would like to see a new Daredevil. I know Disney said they were going to pick it up again. Because they already kind of saw... We saw Daredevil in the last Spider-Man movie. He was the lawyer for Spider-Man.
And then he popped up in She-Hulk, but, you know, whatever.
Basically, yeah.
It was basically like, hey, here's the only reason to watch this show. Whatever.
Whatever.
I mean, we talked about it before. I don't understand what the hell Marvel's doing nowadays.
No, I really don't either. You know, I guess it's just winging it at this rate. I don't know what they think they're doing now.
Well, hopefully Deadpool and Wolverine will save it and like bring some life back into it. So we'll see. We won't see until I think it was July. I think.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next up,
I'm not sure how familiar you are with 70 movies. I would assume good, no?
It depends on the movie.
Logan's Run.
Yes, I'm very familiar with that. Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
the sexy society who kills sexy inhabitants.
Yeah.
As soon as they turn 21.
Oh my god.
And I love that one.
The fact that movie is, I mean, okay, so a lot of movies from like the 60s and 70s, they were trying to predict the future now. And, you know, like, the movie, the Westworld movie, which was also in the 70s, that future was supposed to take place, I think, 10 years from then, so in the 80s. And I'm like, no. Yeah, Logan's Run is just like, so we're gonna be all just wearing just like bright colors and like, what the hell is this? And it's like, yeah, I think you guys were just high while doing this. So, yeah.
I don't even know half the time what the movie was about.
Because I don't think they cared.
You know? Yeah. That's okay. But I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing this movie, even in its most stupidest state, be remade in, you know, semi more decent CGI and special effects.
Yeah, so I mean, Logan's Run, I think, is an interesting premise, but the way they do it is just like whatever. Like, I really don't care. The fact that, you know, to me, the thing where I'm just going like, my God, the fashion looked ugly. Like, I can't. My eyes are burning. It's just I can't look at that anymore.
No, I can't either. I really can't. It's just why.
Yeah, like somebody's wearing bright green, somebody's wearing like bright pink and stuff like that. It reminds me of the movie. Did you ever see Hot Tub Time Machine? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it reminds me of that. Where when they go back to the 80s, everyone's wearing just bright pink, bright blue, and I'm just looking at it going, my God, that looks ugly.
I don't understand why before the 2000s, maybe before even the 80s or 90s at least, they thought we would be wearing the most atrocious outfits.
Oh my God. You want to talk about shit in the future that we wear? Go back and watch the movie Idiocracy.
No.
Have you seen that?
Of course I have.
Yeah. The fact that everyone in the future is wearing Crocs.
Yep.
Yeah, and they even said that, like, the I think it was production manager or like some sort of, I think it was probably dressing. It was something involved with dressing. They said they said like, hey, what if like everyone in the future was wearing Crocs, and then Mike Judge was just like, yeah, I don't see that happening. Boom. Because
it did happen.
And look at now. It's just like, yeah, everyone's wearing like stupid foam sandals on their feet.
They are sometimes very comfortable and fashionable, okay? Sometimes.
Sure.
Not all the time.
Sure.
Just sometimes.
I think it was a College Humor video said, Crocs basically look like a clog that fucks Swiss cheese.
Okay, that's funny. Okay. Okay, I know this one might be a little controversial because a lot of people don't want to touch this movie. People think it shouldn't be touched, but I would like to see the Neverending Story be remade.
See, them trying to... They made sequels out of that, and to be honest, they didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Exactly.
I still think Neverending Story works for the most part. There are definitely some parts where I'm like, yeah, that's going to have to be changed. But, overall, I don't think it needs to be remade. I think I see them remaking it and they just add a shit ton of CGI.
That's what I was thinking. I felt like even if they didn't remake everything, just adding more modern CGI would be nice.
It depends. To me, I would much rather like to see them do kind of like what I know Mandalorian did this. They the film they shoot it. They didn't shoot it in green screen. They actually shot a lot of it in a 360 room that is just filled with screens, and they put the backgrounds on the screens. So it looks like okay. So it's kind of using green screen, but at the same time it's not. I think if they use that same tactic towards Neverending Story, that could potentially work. If they want to do names, I'm forgetting. Was it Falcor flying through the sky? They could potentially do make a Falcor actual real life like they did in the original, and put that in front of the screen where it's flying through the sky, and it would look fine. And it's just see, you guys didn't need CGI for this. This still kind of works. Now for scenes where it's a lot of movement or something like that, make it kind of like what they did with the final cut of Blade Runner, where they did use CGI, but they went to the painstaking pains to make it not look CGI at all. And yeah, if you look at if you compare Blade Runner, the theatrical cut to the final cut, there's a huge difference, and it's whoa. And it works. So I think if they wanted to do a Neverending Story remake, to me, I don't think they would need all the CGI. Make it kind of like what they did with Dark Crystal or even Labyrinth. Pretty much all of that is practical and it looks amazing. You can clearly tell it's puppets and stuff, but there's a lot in both those movies that's just wow, this is just gorgeous. And then when Netflix did the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance show, all of that was puppets, except when they actually were moving a whole lot, it was CGI. Now, it was noticeable, but it didn't take it away. Whereas, I can still believe, because, if they're, flying, they're, dive bombing into the air, you can clearly tell it's like Sesame Street, where they fucking threw the puppet and just didn't give a shit. Yeah, no, they didn't do that. It was like, okay, see, that looks fine, and it works. So I would like to see if they ever attempted a Neverending Story remake. That's what I would like to see, like that same tactic. So, yeah, but
Yeah, well, I agree with you on that one. At least I would like to just see it maybe remastered. Because I haven't seen a remastered version of that yet. At least I don't know if you have.
No, because they never attempted it.
Yeah, I think they should at least do that much and get a remastered version. Because that'd be nice. Not necessarily a remake, but a remastered version.
Well,
Such an old movie.
Well, I just hope they don't pull an E.T. where they just replace the fucking guns with walkie-talkies. It's just like, why'd you do that? Why are you doing this? You don't need to do that. Yeah. They'll replace... They'll fucking CG out art text. Instead, you can clearly tell it's like a kid's drawing. Where you're just like, wow, okay. Like, whatever. Yeah.
All right. I think I'm good. Because everything else is something I would like to see a sequel of. So I think we're good. All right.
All right. So you want to start on the sequels?
All right. Let's start with sequels. You might.
Now, real quick, I do have a lot more on this one than my remakes one. And like I said, I know one might be in overlaps. At least one. So,
one. Okay.
At least one. There's a couple in there where I'm like, okay, you may put that in there, but one, yes. So you want to start off first?
Okay. I'm gonna start off with Gremlins.
They're trying to do a third one. In fact, I think they greenlit it.
Oh, they did. I didn't hear anything about that.
Because it's been in the works for a while, and it's just like, are we ever going to get a third Gremlins movie? And I think like a couple of years ago, people were saying like something's in the works about it, but it's still in like the talking stage. They don't know what's going on right now. But yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay. But yeah, I really want to see a new Gremlins movie, and if it's already greenlit, I can't wait for it then.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm not too sure how I feel about this one. I just kind of put it in there because, I mean, I'd like to see it, but it's Keanu Reeves' Constantine.
I have that one as well.
Oh, okay.
I didn't expect that one. That's not the one where I'm like, okay, we're definitely gonna have an overlaps. That one I was just like, oh shit, okay. Yeah, they said they are doing a sequel of that, and Keanu was coming back for that, as he fucking better, because I think his portrayal as Constantine was awesome. So, but I think currently at the moment, the director of the first Constantine is working on. I don't know what the hell's going on with this, because this was it was announced like a couple of years ago that he was attached to it, but certainly like nothing has happened yet. The director is attached to do the BioShock movie for Netflix. And that was a couple years ago, and I'm like, okay, when the hell are you guys doing it? Because at this point, we're going to get another BioShock game before the fucking movie comes out. Because they're working on another game, which is awesome.
Oh, okay. Great.
So, yeah. So, I don't know. But, yeah, they said that Constantine 2 is in the works. And that Keanu is coming back for that.
Which, better it's his role. I can't see anyone else playing that.
Well, I still haven't seen the Constantine show that I think NBC did. I still haven't seen that. I've talked to some people who have seen it, and they said it's good, but they still kind of prefer Keanu's version of it. So I'm just like, well, because it's Keanu Reeves.
Right.
So, okay.
Okay.
I can check that one off.
Okay, next I have, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Michael Gondry's The Green Hornet from 2011.
Green Hornet. That one, if they're going to do a sequel to that, they got to fix a couple things.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it's a bad movie, but it's certainly not a great one. And I feel like Seth Rogen, he's definitely hit this point in his career, at least in the past couple years, where I really haven't seen him act. He's been producing a whole lot. I mean, I've seen him pop in like little bits here and there, like Spielberg's The Fabelmans, but overall, I've seen him just more producing and keeping track of his weed company.
Weed.
Oh yeah, he has a weed company.
That's crazy. Okay,
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good
does.
market. I mean, nobody's complaining.
Yeah, he does. So I don't know. It would be cool, but there's certain aspects to it. I'm like, yeah, that's probably gonna have to change.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see it.
I can see it too. That's why.
Yeah.
Next, I have The Lone Ranger from 2013.
Okay.
The one with Johnny Depp in it.
All right. Now,
I quite liked it. You can say whatever you want about it, but I liked
it. Cultural appropriation.
Yeah, a lot of it.
And then the fact that Armie Hammer is pretty much a cannibal now, and he's been pretty much blacklisted from Hollywood.
Well, I didn't say they had to bring back everything about it.
They definitely got to change a whole lot.
They got to change the entire movie is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll put it underneath both. They both need to remake it and then bring it back.
If they remake it, they need to remake it, quite differently than their previous attempt. And then if that succeeds and isn't, what we got, then, they could do a sequel to that.
Fair enough. You're right. In that order, we'll remake it first. And then if the remake doesn't do anything,
at least they remade it.
Burn it down.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I want to see The Nightmare Before Christmas again. Like a part 2 to that.
You want to see another one?
Yeah.
I think they said they're trying to think of something for it. They're trying to. They don't know.
Yeah, which I'm curious about that because I know they're trying, but they've kind of already introduced most holidays in the first movie, like Easter and Thanksgiving, and various doorways. I mean, it could just be Jack going into every single one, trying to replace Christmas and stuff. Like, I mean, I can understand why it would be hard to come up with the plot apart from the idea.
Maybe what they can do is they travel to all the other different holidays and mix them all around, so then all the holidays cause chaos, not just Christmas. To then it then takes Halloween and Christmas to potentially come together again to then fix all the shit. So maybe there's like something, like another underground thing in like the Halloween one where, it was Mr. Oogie Boogie, where he totally was going against everybody. So like maybe Halloween Town has something else there that they haven't introduced yet. Mm-hmm. That could potentially, affect all holidays this time, not just one. So I don't know. I don't know if what they're going to do, or even if they're going to do something. I just don't know. But, we'll see. Money talks in Hollywood. We'll see.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, okay, I'm going to end off my list with actually 2 more. I got 2 more.
Okay.
But I will end off my list with Hellboy.
Okay, which version? The Ron Perlman or David Harbour?
Shoot, wait.
If you're talking about the Del Toro ones from the 2000s, that's Ron Perlman.
Yes, the Del Toro ones.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, we've been wanting a third one for years. And then they just said, fuck it, we're just going to do a remake with Harbour. And I know Harbour's pissed off because he wanted his version to be, like, really good. And then when he saw what they did with it, it was just like, well, there goes that. So, I don't know. Strange things have happened, like, for example, like Ghostbusters. They did 1 and 2, and then they did they did a shitty remake. And then they came back and said, you know what? Let's do sequels back to the original and just completely ignore the remake. A lot of series do that. Like,
for some reason they do. I don't know why.
Ghostbusters did it. Evil Dead has done it. So yeah, it happens a lot. They still find a way, even if it's a remake, they still find a way, like, hey, let's see if we can actually make a story and connect it to the other ones. And just kind of ignore the remake. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to add this in because I know they're already trying.
Uh-huh.
But it's Tron.
That's another one I have. Yeah, they're doing 3 right now. And it's like the game enters the real world. And it's like, yeah, I've seen that done before, and it was done in pixels, and I fucking hate the shit out of that movie. So, as long as Adam Sandler's not involved in it, I'll be happy. I mean, hell, man. Oh my god.
Fair enough.
The movie gave me almost like a PTSD. I was just like, what the hell is this crap? Yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of my list. Okay. Ending it off with Tron and Hellboy.
Okay. I have, I think, 11 on here. You have scratched off 2 of them, which was Constantine and Tron. I will get to the one, you didn't hit the one I thought you were going to get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tell me.
I will get to that one eventually. The first one I have is we need another Incredibles movie.
Wow. I did not think about that. My brain did not go straight to animated movies.
Well, wait until the next one.
God.
Yeah, it took them 14 years to do Incredibles 2. And while I don't think Incredibles 2 was as good as the first one, I still enjoyed it. But it's like, yeah, I would think the third one's like the big finale. Or it's like this is a good end point. It doesn't need to be like Toy Story where we say the third one's the last one and then we do another and then we say the fourth is the last one and then they're doing 5 right now.
Okay.
So, or, I'm sorry, I know you like the series, or just Cars where it's just completely cash grab. But anyway,
Nah, okay, the last one they did was, I'll give you that much. The first 2 were not.
No. 2 and 3 were cash grabs.
No, I do not think so. I think 3 was a cash grab. 2 was just a really bad one, okay?
Oh, Cat, I rest my case.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm disagreeing and semi-agreeing.
I agree. Look, Trevor, I agree with your point, but fuck you.
Whatever.
Okay. No, but I think Incredibles, if they did a third movie, I think it would be a good, all right, here's the end to the trilogy. This would be a good finale. So I think so. And plus, the first Incredibles, I think the first one is my favorite Pixar movie. I think. Unless one jumps out at me. I think Incredibles is my favorite Pixar movie because it's the one Pixar movie where I'm like, I'm surprised they did this. It was not just the first Pixar movie where it was PG and it had all these superhero parts where stuff exploded and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It was just wow, this is it was able to show animation what power it can do. And I would like to see a third one. So yeah. Okay. Next up. This is the one I'm surprised you didn't say. Tintin.
Tintin. Oh my god. Oh
All right.
my God, I did not think about that.
I got you. Yeah. Yeah.
Feelings I didn't think
They
about.
were, I know after the first one, they were trying to do another one, and then now they're just kind of sitting on it. And we don't know what's happening. So, like to see another one, because especially on how good the first one was, and how gorgeous the first one was too. And it's so just baffling to me that movie did not, one, get nominated, but two, win animated feature at the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what movie did win that year. I don't remember.
I forgot.
It was 2011. I don't remember what it was. It might have been like Puss in Boots or something, which, I'm not going to pick a fight with that.
No, me neither.
But I don't remember. But yeah, I think we would need another Tintin movie.
It is very much needed.
Yeah.
Very.
Next up, I know that the creator's in a lot of hot water, especially in the past couple of years. So will we get another one? More than likely, no. But it would kind of be cool if someone was able to find a way to continue this. Firefly and Serenity. Because Firefly, it was for those who don't know, Firefly was a one-season show that is basically space cowboys. And it got just completely kicked to the curb thanks to the network. They aired the wrong episodes in the wrong order. Where instead of episode 1 airing in episode 1, they instead aired episode 2 in 1 because they thought it was more action-packed. So then when they aired episode 1 as 2, people were like, what the hell is going on? So people got confused, and then ratings were poor because of the executive's decision to do that. To then they just went, okay, we're canceling it. And then when they rearranged it to what it's actually supposed to be, it's like, this is actually really good. And the reason why I say the creator's in hot water, because it's Joss Whedon.
Oh.
Yep. That's what I mean. It's just like shit. We're probably not going to get another one. But
No.
Firefly is such, it was a short-lived show, and then Serenity is the sequel to the show. It just has a huge universe to play around with. I mean, several planets, and it just fascinating characters, and just it's a really unique world to play around with. It's a great sandbox. So it's and we'll come across something else here that I think is another sandbox that I would like to see more get played around with. I think that would be cool. And especially it's a nice break from something like Star Wars, where this is just hey, you want to watch pretty much a space western? This is it. I mean, yeah, Mandalorian was definitely a western, but all the other ones after that, it was just okay, this is just completely different. I'm not understanding this. But, it's fun. And the other thing too is that with Mandalorian, he starts out not the best guy, but then he becomes a hero. With this, it's if they feel very much like the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, where it's they're anti-heroes pretty much, where they're just all right, you want to do something good, something bad, a little bit of both. What do you want to do? Hey, let's just do whatever we want. Then that's very much how they treat characters in that property.
Okay.
So it wasn't until the 2 and then Avengers where they're just no, they're heroes. And it's okay, fine, I guess. But yeah, I would like to see more Firefly. If somebody can find a way to make it work without Whedon, then I would definitely like to see more. Next up was Constantine. But then next up was Tron after that. This one. Did you ever watch the Sleepy Hollow TV show that was on Fox?
No.
Really good.
I heard you mention it, but I've never seen it.
Really good. That one, it was 4 seasons, But the thing is the best of that show was seasons 1 and 2, and you can honestly watch season 3, and season 3 can be the finale. It can be just the final season. Not saying that 4 was bad, but season 3 did something at the end of the last episode of that season. They did something that was like, are you guys trying to get a finale? Are you guys trying to get yourself canceled? Like, what are you doing? It's like they set up all these like different characters and story arcs, and then the finale they just went, hey, half of these characters that you know and like, we're just gonna off them. That's like, what? What are you doing? And so then season 4 was just like, hey, here's a new cast of characters. Yes, we have some characters from previous seasons come back. And it's like, but the damage is already done, guys. You already screwed us over. And so then after that, it got canceled. And I'm like, yeah, because they shot themselves in the foot. So I would like for them to bring it back, but erase season 4. Like I said, not saying season 4 was a bad season. It was interesting and it was good at times, but it was like you had something good going on before that and you fumbled it. So I would say, if they want to come up with a way where it takes place after the events of season 3 and they find a way to basically reverse time or like redo something where the end result of season 3 didn't happen. So then all these characters are still alive. You still have something going. And it's like, there you go. So, yeah, I really liked that show. And then the way that season ended was just like, I was pissed off. I was like, well, what the hell are they going to do now? And then it was announced it got renewed. I'm like, so what are they going to do? So, yeah, I would like to see that show back in like one form or another. Next thing up, here's the other sandbox one that I would like to see, which I brought up before, Blade Runner. Because it's such a unique world that they have. And it was very much because of that movie. I mean, there was some examples early on before that, but thanks to Blade Runner, we wouldn't have like the cyberpunk genre. So we wouldn't have like the Cyberpunk 2077 game. We wouldn't have like Andor from Star Wars.
Right.
That's very Blade Runner. Like the way it is, very gritty and dark. Like that's very much like Blade Runner if it was Star Wars. And it's just like, whoa, this is cool. Yeah. Like what the hell is this? So yeah, we wouldn't have like all that stuff if it wasn't for this. And I know they did it in the sequel, and the sequel is just so damn good. And I know there's an anime which I think was like Black Leotis, something like that. Mm-hmm. I still haven't seen that. I want to check it out. But I know you're not like me. I'm not into anime. Like, unless it has like it's tied to a property that I like. So that's why like I watch like the Cyberpunk Edge Runner series because I like Cyberpunk. And yeah, the Black Leotis is attached to Blade Runner. I'm like, well, I like Blade Runner, so I'll check it out. But yeah, that's such a unique sandbox to play around with as well. So I would like to see more of that. The next one, I still am pissed off that when they did the reboot movie, they teased the fact that, oh, maybe we're going to bring the original back. And they didn't. Can you kind of guess what I'm talking about? There was so you had the original show, and then they rebooted it. The reboot sucks. Then they did a reboot. They turned the reboot into a movie. And then the end, they tried saying, hey, the original may come back. Nope.
Stop. Nope. I can't think of it.
Teen
I feel like I
Titans.
haven't. Please stop. I don't even want to think about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know a lot of people said like the last couple seasons of the original show was kind of like, well, they're kind of fumbling it a little bit. It's just like, well, in defense of that, they were trying to think of other stuff to do. It wasn't just the main story. It was like, let's think of other stuff to do, and I personally liked what they were doing. It just, sucks that, it lasted, I think it was like 5 seasons or something like that. But it's that it was the way they did it. To me, I was like, I'd like to see that again. Just like the animated style, the sense of humor, the action was great. The way they wrote all the characters, the way they started out being pretty much like teammates, and then throughout the course of the series, they got more personal and started becoming like a very weird family. Like that's kind of what I want to see again, and I think that's kind of what's been lost in a lot of different, not just in Go. I mean, Go lost just its fucking brain cells. No, and just in multiple different properties. I think they just kind of lost it. And that's something that I loved about the original series. So if they're able to find a way to bring that back and have the same way that they had the original series, then I'd be over the moon. Because the original Teen Titans is one of my favorite shows. So, it'll be difficult, much like this next one. It'll be difficult. I would love to see more Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yes, I agree. Even if it's like a really disgusting 3D animated version of it, I will very much pay anyone.
Okay. If they do a 3D version, but if they keep the same style, not the same animated style, but the same tone as the writing of the original series, then I can be like, all right, I can overlook the animation because the writing is funny or the writing is good. That's one of the reasons why I'm able to watch Rick and Morty is the animation. I don't really like the animation, but the writing, it's so funny that I'm like, okay, I can look past the animation. So with Courage the Cowardly Dog, I would like to see that. But a real quick side note, did you see the footage that somebody made an actual Courage the Cowardly Dog horror game?
Oh my god, I did see that. I did.
Yes. And I'm just like, oh my god. Nope. You're being chased by the God, it was the episode, it was the cat showed up and it was the cat's boyfriend. Yeah. Yeah, it's he's following you through the house. I'm like, oh my god, nope. So I thought that was cool, but yeah, I would like to see more Courage the Cowardly Dog. Okay, the last 3 that I have. One, you're gonna look at me like, really? I'll get to that one soon. Okay, I threw in Ghostbusters. Now here's why. Do I need every Ghostbusters movie to somehow connect to the original? No, I do not. In fact, stuff like the Extreme Ghostbusters TV show or the Ghostbusters Sanctum of Slime video game, that focused on rookies. Where it was okay, you see the original super brief, but then once we throw in the rookies 5 minutes after that, it's then all them. So you kind of forget they're kind of semi-connected. So it's okay, I'm just focusing on these 4 new rookies. So it's all right, I'm liking this. And the thing with Extreme Ghostbusters is that it was supposed to be more darker. It was supposed to be more extreme in a way. Where they're just yeah, we hit this point in kids animation where let's just be dark and see if we can get it past the censors. And then the Sanctum of Slime video game, I was liking the story, but the controls are fucking atrocious. So then I quit the game before I finished it because I could not take the controls. Like, yeah, instead of shooting the proton stream with the right trigger, instead they wanted you to use the left stick. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, no, this is a piece of crap. And it sucked too, because that game did have a story, and I was liking the story, what they were doing. It's just, nope. It sucks. So I would like to see, more Ghostbusters films. I'm never going to say no to that, but it would be nice for them to say, like, hey, this doesn't connect to the original, kind of like what Evil Dead Rise did. It's, you could see it as a sequel, but it's not. It's a completely different thing from the originals. In fact, it's not even the same ballpark. It's completely different. It's not even connecting itself to the original. So it's like, here's a different thing. It's not a new take. It's not a remake. It's like, hey, this is a side thing, and I liked it. So like kind of stuff like that, or even like, Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, which is my favorite. It doesn't try to connect to the original. In fact, there's only one scene where they're like, okay, this connects to this one. But other than that, it's a completely different thing, and I liked it. I know not a lot of people did, but you know what? I don't like most people. But, would I like to see more Ghostbusters movies? Absolutely. But do I need them all to be connected to the original? No, I don't. So that's why I threw that in there. All right. Here's the one where you're probably going to be like, you must be drunk right now. Friday the 13th. Now, here's why I put this. So a week ago, I saw Markiplier's video where he played the Friday the 13th killer puzzle game. Mm-hmm. And he went to the level where where Jason got arrested and goes to prison. And I'm like, I can see a movie right there. That's an entire movie where he's in prison. Like, you can set it after the events of the remake, of like the 2009 remake, because he's still technically alive. He gets charged, gets thrown in prison, but then is escaping. And because it's a prison, there's so many inmates. So it's like, there you go. Like, right there. That's an hour and a half movie right there. And you can go with that. And then the ending is, Jason escapes, and that's the end. And if they want to continue it after that, there you go. So it's like, there you go. There it is, right there. Because I know they've been trying to find a way to do more. In fact, they're doing a TV series, which is being done by the same creator as the Hannibal TV show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And I think they said probably the end of this year or even to next year. I don't know. But, if they want to do more Friday the 13th movies, like, do one where he goes to prison and make it after the remake. And then the ending to that is, Jason escapes, and then that's the end. So then if you want to make more movies after that, you have a good lead-in. So that's why I put that. So then the last one, I'll wrap this up pretty quickly. The last one, Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, I agree with you on that one.
Because the way that Honor Among Thieves basically said, hey, we're going to take all of these characters and basically, be just kind of silly and just go with it. It works. To then, they don't even necessarily have to do another movie with the same characters. They don't necessarily need to do that. Because it's kind of like, okay, they fulfilled their thing. They really don't need to continue. If they find a way to do it, sure, I watch that one. But because there's different classes in Dungeons and Dragons, it's like, okay, one could be this class, one could be this class, and it's like another team. And instead, they're like on the other side of the map, like in the game. So it's like there's multiple different ways you can go with this, and make it kind of like an anthology film where each film is different, but it's the same property. Like there you go. You can keep going with that. And still have the same like sense of humor that Honor Among Thieves has. And don't worry, I'll fix that when you come out. Yeah. Don't worry, I'll fix that. I think you would dig it. Yeah. Oh yeah, and just real quick, a little sneak peek for people. The next show we do, we're actually going to be sitting in the same room.
Ooh, that's going to be exciting for sure.
Yeah. We'll no longer be doing. We won't be doing this on Discord like we typically do. So that's our next show. So, look out for that. But that's why I put Dungeons and Dragons, is because after Honor Among Thieves, it was just like, all right, you guys can do like more of these and make it kind of like the anthology piece, kind of like the same thing what they can do with Ghostbusters, and make it like an anthology thing. Where each movie it's like different characters, it's different situations. They don't even need to be in New York. They could be in different cities, like what Afterlife did. That was in Oklahoma, the entire movie, and then the new one they brought it back to New York. So it's like you can have one in California. You can even go out of your way and make it international, which is what I thought they were going to do, because I was hearing a story where they were saying they were trying to make it in London, and it's just like, you can still do that if you find a really good way to do that. You can do it. So, yeah. But now that was my list. Now on to movie that we have already has sequels, but we're only going to concentrate on the first one.
Yep.
John Wick. Because we're doing this in honor of Monkey Man, which looks like an Indian John Wick. That is pretty much what it looks like. But it still looks great, and I'm hearing it's pretty good too. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But we're going to start with the head honcho, the king. It's the Baba Yaga himself, John Wick.
John Wick.
So, when did you see the first movie for the first time?
Actually, it was almost a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. It was pretty recently, I guess, per se. Mm-hmm. I saw all of them all at once, so like in a whole day. I watched all of them up to 3, and then... And
then you saw 4?
Then I saw 4. Mm-hmm. I don't remember. I think I saw that when it came out on streaming.
Yeah, I saw the first one back when 3 just came out. So like I went over to my dad's house, and he was like, "Oh my god, we're gonna go see John Wick 3." And I'm like, "I haven't even seen the first 2." And he's like, "What?" And so throughout the course of the weekend, like on a Friday, we watched the first one, and then Saturday we saw the second, and then on Sunday we went and saw 3 in theaters. And then, when 4 came out, I saw that in theaters, which was awesome. But yeah, so watched all 3 at the time, John Wick films in a weekend, and was like immediately hooked. Because I'm just like, wow, I like Keanu Reeves, and it's him kicking the shit out of people, and it's him actually doing it.
Yeah!
Like, that's awesome. I want more of this. So yeah, the first movie, it set the ground rules. And honestly, it still has, to me, the best line in all the movies, and that is when John Leguizamo gets a call.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I heard you struck my son. Yes, sir, I did. Why'd you do that? Well, because your son stole John Wick's car and killed his dog. Oh.
He's like, oh,
it just hangs up. It's just like the expression of, oh, I'm screwed.
Oh, he's coming up to me now. That's not fun. Uh-oh.
I kept laughing at that. Because it's just like I'm screwed. Yeah. And but I loved the way they set up this mystery about him. Like, you really don't know who he is. And then it was just like, oh, so he's he's established himself as that guy you just do not want to mess with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then him telling the story of, like, saw him kill, it was 3 men in a bar with a pencil. It's like, oh, well, shit. And actually something I read was, in the original script for the first movie, John Wick only killed, like, 5 people. But it was Keanu Reeves' idea, where it's like, no, if he's like this, supposed to be this, like, super badass assassin, no, he has to go, like, all in. So then they made the kill count like I think it was like, I think somebody calculated it was like 80 for the first movie.
Okay.
And then they increased it more as the films came out. Yeah. I think it was like, yeah. 1 had like 80 some odd kills. 2 had like 100 kills. 3 had like 130. And I think 4 had like, because of its runtime, I think it topped that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was like, oh, okay. Because, yeah, it was supposed to establish, like, yeah, he's a ruthless badass. And, yeah, and especially all this, like, pumped up rage that he has inside of him. Of course he's gonna fucking let loose. Well,
he killed his dog, bro. Like, I would also go on a pretty big rage.
Well, and the thing that I hated about the first movie is not necessarily that they killed the dog, but the fact that they made that dog so fucking cute.
I know.
It was just like, oh my god, it's
all the dogs in the movies are super cute.
Yeah. I was just like, you killed a beagle. Who does that? Like, they're just like the most innocent breed. It's just like the only thing that, like, it was like, the only thing that just, like, that sucks is that they're so cute, so you just don't want to see them go. You know, even if you're visiting a friend and they have a pet beagle, you don't want to leave because of that fucking dog. You're just like, can I take that dog home with me? So, yeah. I mean, the car was one thing. I'm just like, that's just a beautiful car. And it's just like, oh, you killed the dog. It's like, all right, yeah, you're done. And I hate how people are saying, oh, it was just a dog, and it was just like, no. All right, you just signed your death warrant there, pal. Like, you just signed up for me to kill your ass. It's like, you're not just a fucking dog. No. So, but yeah, I love how it starts out with, yeah, it's a guy tear-jerker movie. Where, you know, especially if you love cars, you're just going to be like, oh my god, that poor car. But then especially if you're a dog lover. You know, I've even talked to people who aren't dog lovers, and they got upset.
Wow.
Yeah. Because they said the same thing I did. They're just like, that dog is so damn cute. So, yeah. And the thing is that this movie came out, when the movie came out, it really got overshadowed because not a lot of people were just like, it's just another action movie, but not realizing, oh, it's actually bringing it back to what action movies were, where it was actually the actor taking the time to do this stuff. You know, there is no CGI to help the actor through this. Now, of course, there's those shots, but, you know, for the majority, it's all like physical stunt work and fighting. And that's why I love the series. You know? And yeah, this movie definitely kickstarted that. And it's awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, I quite liked this movie too. I mean, everything down to like the script. I mean, they really did well. And of course, everybody knows the ongoing meme of John Wick getting run over by a car every single time he has the chance to, you know?
Yeah, it's just a thing.
Yeah, you'd have to watch the movie. He does get run over quite a bit, actually. I don't think there hasn't been one time where he's like survived.
In every movie, he does get hit.
Yeah,
by
at least towards the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, every movie he does get hit by a car. Mm-hmm. But because he's a badass, he just walks it off. And, you know, I know a lot of people are saying, like, yeah, he wouldn't have survived this, he wouldn't have survived that. It's just like, yeah, but when you look at it, the crux of the movie, it still feels very real. And that's one of the reasons why I enjoy not just this movie, but the whole series. I think they're able to keep the realism just fantastically. So, yeah, personally, I would give the first movie a respect, because yeah, I do think in some ways they get better over the course of time. And when they realized, like, after the first movie, and then they did 2, and then audiences were just like, hey, how much crazier can we get to this? And then 3 comes out, and literally, you know, there's people getting killed by horses and books. And then when you get to 4, you're just like, this is just insane. So if we wouldn't have all that if it wasn't for first John Wick, but also I think more importantly, John Wick was the movie that put Keanu Reeves' career back on track, because before this, before it, he was really doing like these movies that were just bombs and weren't really all that good. And then it wasn't until John Wick came out when it was like, all right, he's back on track again. And
I mean, he's done plenty of great movies, you know, when he was slightly younger. I won't say slightly younger, but, you know, like when he first started out and he was a lot younger.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, now it's like now his name is out there. Like, everybody loves him. They're just waiting for him to keep making more movies, and hopefully they're not bad.
Yeah.
But,
well, he said that he'll do as many John Wick films as fans want. So that's commitment. And then personally, I know we're not talking about 4, but, you know, we're talking about the first one, but personally, I think 4, if they stop doing John Wick movies, 4 is a good end.
I agree.
But it leaves the groundwork like, hey, we could come back. We could. And they said that John Wick 5 is in talks. I think they even said, like, they're trying to figure out what to do. So, I don't know. And then we got the ballerina movie coming now next year. It was supposed to be this year. They then delayed it to next year. And Keanu is supposed to appear in the movie.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so.
All right. I can't wait to see that. But yeah, I'll go with you too. I'll give it a respect. I would give it You Are God, but I feel like some of the other movies kind of deserve that title.
Yeah.
Even though the first one should probably get it, but I feel like the other movies do.
And it's like what I said. Like, me personally, I think that the films get better over time. Because they're just like, all right, audiences have gotten this and this and this. What else haven't we done? And also, if we're going to continue to do this, how crazier can we get? Like, how just batshit insane can we make this? And they're able to top themselves every time, which is awesome.
It is awesome, because I don't think I've seen a John Wick movie out of all 4 of them that's boring or that feels stupid in a sense, plot wise, you know. Like they introduce a new I think it's a new hotel every single movie, so it's in a different part of the world.
First one is New York. Second is was
Middle East?
Italy.
No,
it was Italy.
Oh, Italy.
3 was Casablanca, and 4 was Japan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love how they make it established like it's an underground thing, but when you really look at it, it's not really that underground. But, you know, and then I know a lot of people have brought up, like, he shoots people, there's like gun battles in the middle of the day, like while others are walking around. It's just like, you kind of have to overlook that. Like, it's the rules of this world. Like, you got to realize that this world is not the one we got. But, you know, there are stuff that you do have to buy with this series. But if you go with it, man, it is a hell of a roller coaster. And it just, you'll get your breaks in there. And then when the action pumps in, you're just like, this is just I'm watching art right now.
Exactly. And I don't think I could ever get tired. It could be like a Fast and Furious type of sequel movie, you know? Like, we could have like 10 of them, and I don't think I'd ever get tired because there's so many places you can just be. And I guess the last movie, I don't know if it's spoiler or not, but if it is, skip. I don't know. But we don't know if he's alive or not. Realistically, we don't know.
Well, and
he could be dead.
That's what I mean. Like, the end of 4 leaves like, maybe we'll come back, but if we don't, it still works. We'll see.
Exactly. So yeah, if you haven't watched the John Wick series, I really think you should, because I think it's on a streaming platform. I just don't know which one.
I've seen it keep bouncing on and off of streaming. Like, I saw, like, the first 3, I saw them on, like, HBO Max, and then all of a sudden, like, when I look back, like, a couple weeks later, it's then gone. And I was like, God damn it. But this is why we still have physical media, because I actually have all 4 on physical media because of something like this. So, physical media still rules. I still love it. I still collect. So, I'm just throwing that out there. So, screw you, Best Buy. Okay. But, overall, John Wick is still great. And yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat with you. Like, if they do like 10 more of these, unless the story kind of like they can't find a good cohesive story to continue it, and they're just pretty much doing it just for sake of argument, like, hey, fans want it, let's just do another one, then that's probably when I would start going like, you guys are dipping. But no, especially with the John Wick ones, they're able to set up like this really unique world, and it is like a nice playground to play around with, which is why we got like the Continental Peacock series, this is why we're getting the Ballerina movie. It's a nice series, and yeah, I'm right there with you. If you haven't seen it, absolutely watch it. Especially if you love watching like action scenes, like all those 80s movies where the actor was legitimately doing their own stuff. This is it.
Exactly. And there's John Wick doesn't actually have that much dialogue either, so it's not like there's plenty more action than there is dialogue in this movie.
Well, I would say he definitely has a little less dialogue as the movies progress. And then especially in 4, he even said like, out of like the, I don't know, like month or 2 that they were filming, he really only had dialogue scenes for like 2 weeks. The rest of it, he was just fighting. That was it.
He doesn't have time to talk. Yeah. He's only here to kill.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you want to make a little fun game of it, just do a shot for every time you get turned over by a car.
Oh, no. I was going to say, if you want to get fucked up in 5 minutes, take a shot every time it gets a headshot.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You'll be drunk by the end of, like, half the movie. Towards half the movie, you'll be drunk.
You'd probably be drunk in 5 minutes, and you'll probably be dead halfway through the movie. Doctor, what was the cause of death? Alcohol poisoning. From what? He took a shot every time John Wick took a headshot. Whatever. That works.
Yep.